Hello and welcome to the podcast experience, an initiative of UFPR, our university's innovation ecosystem. This episode is part of the Innovation and Energy series recorded live in COBEM 2025, whose theme is Artificial Intelligence for a Sustainable Future. Today, we're talking about something very practical, how a single energy system can deliver many services at once: electricity, heating, cooling, hot water, even hydrogen, while wasting less and costing less over time. Our guest is Professor Ibrahim Dincer.
Have, of course, specific intended application or, let's say, specific community who has got, let's say, specific needs, such as power, heat, cooling, fuel, fresh water, etc. So what you do now, based on what sources you have got and what services basically you are going to provide useful outputs as listed, so you now design an integrated system to be able to deliver all these. Why then this integrated energy system concept comes into the picture? Because everything these days is getting integrated. You have integrated app, integrated services, integrated applications, and so on and so forth. So it is really necessary to design the systems in a way, in an integrated fashion, instead of delivering only, let's say, power, you deliver multiple useful outputs. We have, for example, single generation system. They just deliver what? Power or heat or cooling. We have cogeneration system. We have cogen units available practically. They do deliver two things. What? Electricity, heat simultaneously.
Okay.
And then tri-generation, for example, delivering three useful outputs simultaneously. So what will happen? Power, heat, cooling, for example. If you make it 4, 5, 6, so is gonna increase the number of useful outputs. So that's why integrated system concept is really critical in energy systems area.
That was very didactic. I don't know it's right, this word? Yeah, because I'm not from engineering area.
But you got the point.
So I understood very good. Like,
Okay.
Thank you. That was amazing.
Okay. So, but anyway, they are not
No,
recording
no,
these. Yeah.
No.
Okay.
They can cut it.
Okay. So, but the answer was so
No,
people.
Amazing.
Okay.
Amazing. Thank you. So let's go now to the
Second
question
one.
number 2. In practice, how do you make sure every bit of energy is used wisely with minimal waste? Do you have a real story that shows the difference between a regular setup and an integrated one?
So now coming down to energy saving. Energy saving is a critical subject, and in what I can tell you, I always give one example. Comparing incandescent bulbs with compact fluorescent lamps. So bulbs, this is something very critical. Because when you go and buy, regular incandescent bulbs, and then what you do, you pay less. And then you pay less, for example, in Canada, you pay about, let's say, 50 cents for one incandescent bulb. So what you do is probably going to be 60 watt or 100 watt. And then what you get normally, you get 95% heat, only 5% light. So we do have compact fluorescents. So LED and that kind of stuff. And what we do, and these, and when you pay, of course, purchase that, you pay little more. How much more? Probably they are gonna be, let's say, $1 each. So what you do, people sometimes think, oh, why should I pay 50 cents more upfront buying a bulb? But what happens, guess, you have to look at the life cycle costing and emissions. And then what happens, You have the bulb now, let's say 100 watt or 60 watt incandescent, those old type yellow, and then you have the compact fluorescent. Really, their wattage is much less. Why? They give more than 90% light. So they have 9 watts or 12 watts, etc. So what happens when you look at the cost in the beginning, what you pay to the store is little higher, 50 cents. But when you look at the electricity cost, let's say if you run it for 10,000 hours, so how many bulbs you need? You need more incandescent and less compact fluorescent. And then you come down. How much energy you consume is gonna be much less, at least 10 times less. Because imagine you have 100 watt bulb incandescent, and now you have about, let's say, 9 or 12 watts of compact fluorescent. So what will happen? You will have, of course, have less wattage, energy consumption. So the electricity cost is gonna be less, and then is going to be less. But at the same time, you need to look at the emissions. Emissions will be much less. Why? Wattage is less, because imagine if the electricity is coming from a thermal power plant, and you basically consume 100 watts, and for each kilowatt you are going to emit about, let's say, if it is a natural gas thermal power plant, about 600 to 700 grams of CO2. So when you reduce the wattage, so what will happen? You will also decrease the emission. So this little example is telling you, in terms of those light bulbs. So if you go and buy compact fluorescent bulbs, so you pay little higher upfront, but when you look at the energy cost and emissions, they are going to be much less. So that's why we need to consider this life cycle. It's not only about what you pay upfront.
Okay.
So I wanted to give this example so that people can think.
And it's the reality of all of us, right?
Yes, because what will happen, normally the old type yellow light bulbs, so they consume more.
Here in, at least in Curitiba, the yellow ones, it's like very, very less. We almost
Okay,
don't see them.
rarely. So people are, it's good,
changing already.
people are conscious, really replacing them. This is good.
Incredible example. Thank you. Let's go to the question number 3. In simple terms, what does AI do that's actually useful here? Does it help switch things on, off at the right time, predict failures, or choose the cleanest, cheapest source? Could you give an easy to visualize example?
Okay. AI is really a smart tool, because at the end we human beings are training AI to make them smarter. So what they can do in regards to, let's say, the field of energy, you can design things now. Even we have digital twins, for example. You don't need to build a thermal power plant. You can build a thermal power plant digitally, so that without spending any penny, without building an actual one, to be able to see how well it's gonna function. So this is the way, potential. And then what you do? System automation, control, management, and all those things. What you do, you may have app, you control the temperature of your house, or anything else around. You put your AC on, heater on, anything you can imagine. So this is, you see, the training is a kind of ongoing process. So human beings are training more and more, providing data, providing information, feeding this AI. So those are going to be much smarter. That's why I was saying yesterday that, if we continue feeding that way and also we ignore our, let's say, human intelligence and related to the works we do, so what will happen? We may end up, really getting this AI, becoming much smarter, and we ourselves becoming really dumber.
Yes.
So that's why it is important to have a kind of balance. So we shouldn't really leave all our intellect over them and really be under their, let's say, control. So we need to control, we need to use effectively and efficiently to develop better systems, better applications, and better services for the humanity at the end with an ultimate goal to achieve sustainability.
Incredible. Balance is everything because
Yes.
You said that people are getting dumber, but beyond that, we have our bodies.
Yeah.
If our body can't stand up and turn a light on, it's like, where are we
Always,
going to
you
stop,
see,
know?
I always, I have one cartoon showing it, this cartoon comes from late 70s. The cartoon shows the following. There was a TV, really very thick, old-fashioned, and then the guy, is very skinny.
Okay.
And then what happened over the years, televisions became skinnier, thinner, and then we have become choppier and choppier. So you see, now with this AI, people don't want to move, don't want to go around. So that is not something good for us. We are biological species. We have to move. We have to keep ourselves active.
Yes. The professor, I don't remember his name, but yesterday he said about how robots,
Yeah.
they can help people that have diseases, that
But-
can help. And he said that all that is not AI, it's programmed.
Yes.
So
Is-
he said that people are confusing things, and it's so incredible for you to explain everything. It's amazing, really.
And this is, you see, robots will be really part of our life, and really, in that case, again, they are gonna help, assist, especially elderly people for their daily activities. Something needed definitely is going to be more needed in the future.
Yes. Incredible. And number 4, AI itself uses energy. How do you keep the balance so AI helps the planet instead of adding the consumption? Is there a simple rule of thumb you follow to decide when AI is worth it?
Yeah. It's again, when you look at the energy consumptions really by the data center, really huge. We are discussing megawatt to gigawatt levels, Unlike, let's say, a house or a building. A house is gonna consume only about, let's say, 5 to 10 kilowatts. Now, when you look at these data centers from megawatt to gigawatt level, huge. So what is needed? Either you have to manage it by using renewable energy or nuclear. So that's why these various AI companies or Microsoft, Google, etc., what they consider small or micro modular reactors. So this is gonna be, let's say, you can have a kind of up to 300 or, they are going up to 500 as well, up to 300 to 500 megawatt level, having a small modular reactor, really feeding the entire data center. Or smaller, less than 100 megawatt, less than 50 megawatt, even micro, becoming very important. So this is not only about data centers. Robots, they need power. You need to provide power source, either an engine or batteries or fuel cells. You see, this is not just like your vehicle. Robots, people don't realize, robots are, yes, mechanical, but they need power. So they need power to function. So you see, this is the point. So it is nothing is coming for free. Energy is needed for anything, everything you can imagine. So that's why these robots. And the other important thing, I had in the past one interesting project. This was from Canada, coming to me from a company who was doing work in Nunavut area. So that temperature was going down to minus 65, and they were sending people for data collection and observation. So they asked me if we can manage to design a robot, but our role was about thermal management. Because when they send robots, because robots cannot properly function at that temperature. And moisture is also a problem for mechanical functionality, and corrosion as well. So what we try to do, we try to develop proper power sources and proper dress code. So robots will require dress.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So that's why everything is becoming interesting. So energy is going to be more and more needed for AI, even for whatever digital applications.
And we have to open the eye for this because we need more and more and more
more.
energy.
So that's why everything is gonna be really critical, more and more critical.
Oh my God. Thank you for this response. Let's go now to innovation, startups, and business models, because this part of AI was kind of sad.
Yeah. Okay.
So, for listeners thinking this sounds expensive, who pays for a city or university to adopt an integrated system, and how does it pay for itself over time? Is there a pay for the service model that works for the public?
So referring to specific commercialization and commercializing an IP, is this what you are aiming?
The question is more like for this university.
Yes.
The system, he can pay for itself if we...
Can you develop a mechanism that the university is gonna able to manage itself financially without, let's say, seeking public funds? Is this what you are?
It can be.
Okay, now universities, let's put it this way. For example, in Canada, universities normally really generate their own revenues. And only there is some capital and also really partial funding coming for the students. Like, for example, for an engineering student, government pays, let's say, 6,000 Canadian dollars. Nothing beyond. But probably here, government covers all expenses, providing from capital to other operational or facilities as well. So now, universities need to develop their own ecosystem where they are going to develop knowledge, lay and expand with innovation, and turn it into technologies and to create values and to achieve commercialization. So this can be done with collaboration, of course. You can do it, you can manage it with industry, or you can really encourage students and faculty members to develop their startup or spin-off companies so that they can generate a revenue. When they generate revenues, and then you have royalties, you have technologies developed, so that what you do, this is gonna fit you financially, and eventually you may become a financially viable institution. So it is possible. That's why research has to come to a really technological output. So tangible technological outputs will be necessary to create value. So knowledge into value is essential.
Okay, amazing. Something that they already did here in the parking lot. We have a lot of solar.
Yeah, so because this is at the end, developing these technologies, but you need partners from industry so that they can commercialize. And then what they do, they pay, royalties or shares to the universities, to the researchers, so that, this is becoming a kind of revenue generating path.
Okay, thank you. And where do you see room for startups, smart maintenance, metering, control, storage? What practical advice would you give to someone who wants to found a company in this space?
You need to, I tell always people, you need to look at what is needed in the market. So first you need to identify the needs. And for example, if this is going to be, let's say, here in Brazil, you don't want to do something which is only applicable, let's say, somewhere else. So depending on, you have to identify the targeted market and their needs. This is what it is. So otherwise you cannot find customers. So you want customers, and customers, yes, identify the need, identify the really specific product or service or technology, and penetrate into the market to make it happen. And then no matter, you earn money, you make it. Why? People need it.
You need to.
So you only identify the needs in whatever specific market or sector. Once you make it, and then people will buy it. People will buy it. That's what it is.
Because they need it.
Yeah, they need it.
Incredible.
And now, how you can enhance your marketing activities? Of course, obviously, social media is going to be essential. So you can, improve whatever, or accelerate your penetration, or improve your sales. You can make it, of course, by more effective use of social media.
Thank you. Incredible. This was a good time. Wow. And let's go to here. Renewables and energy efficiency. The two last, okay?
Yeah.
Many people hear about green hydrogen and wonder, when is it the best solution and when is it not? Could you give simple examples like city buses industry that need very high heat or backup power? When is the best solutions?
In regards to hydrogen, and let's look at what sectors will require hydrogen. So based on current trends, so the transportation sector is going to be really the prime target. And transportation sector, of course, is not only land, rail as well, marine, and of course air, especially aircraft. So when you look at these, there is a strong need for carbon-free fuels or green fuels. So if they require carbon-free fuels, this is gonna come down to hydrogen and ammonia. And ammonia is also carbon-free because NH3.
Okay.
So you can make green ammonia out of green hydrogen. Because what you do, you have hydrogen, you have nitrogen in air. So what you do, you capture air and separate it into what? Nitrogen and others. So you take the nitrogen, synthesize with the hydrogen into ammonia.
Okay.
So this is a Haber-Bosch process or method is known for this. So you can do it this way. Now, what else will be? Because they should be green fuels. So biofuels are green. Why? Because biosources are treated as carbon neutral. So those are going to be green to use. You can have biofuels, and you can do it, of course, from wastes or any type of biosource. So biomass source will be necessary. So this way, keeping in mind, the target is going to be really first sources. You look at the sources, renewable energy, wastes, especially biomass wastes, including city waste, including wastewaters. What you can do, you can produce hydrogen. You can also make other useful outputs, fresh water, generate electricity, and all these will be possible. And then what will happen? Targeted applications in various sectors. Number one priority is going to be transportation. Next is going to be industrial sector, and next is going to be really residential, agricultural, and commercial. So other sectors will follow. So the point, this is about ecosystem. You need to develop the ecosystem based on hydrogen. So once you develop it, you have other users in various sectors really requiring hydrogen, and you supply hydrogen to them. So this is going to be really under an ecosystem. So what you do, you have green energy sources, and you make green hydrogen and green fuels, and then use it accordingly as needed in various sectors.
Wow, that's a lot. but I got it.
Okay.
Not wow.
As long as you got it, this is fine.
Let's go to our last question.
Okay.
If my city decided to adopt an integrated system with renewables, what would change in people's lives in the next few years? Energy bills, comfort at home, air quality. What clear benefits would residents notice first?
Okay. Definitely what will happen. Imagine if you switch to, let's say, green energy sources, such as renewables, and you, of course, turn your wastewater into green energy outputs, such as hydrogen, electricity, etc. So what will happen? And you are not going to burn anymore, fossil fuels. So imagine you will get rid of fossil fuels, because the problem, when you look at the city's air, so what happens, the prime source of emissions, especially greenhouse gas emissions, are coming down to what? Hydrocarbon fuels. Those are fossil fuels. So if you take these fossil fuels out of this energy equation, and you have green options, renewables, and turning, of course, waste to energy, and of course, let's say eventually one may have, let's say, nuclear power as well in small or micro modular form. That's fine. So you will eliminate hydrocarbon, of course, use of hydrocarbon, and obviously eliminate greenhouse gas emissions. Greenhouse gas emissions, you have, of course, what? You have CO2. Essentially, out of 75% of total greenhouse gases is CO2, and the rest SOx, NOx, etc. So coming out of it, and some methane as well. So essentially, once you take these fossil fuels out of the equation, and the rest is going to be really clean, and they will make the air clean. And then, of course, what will happen? So better life and better economies for people. So that will be obviously, with the integrated system. So how to develop this integrated system for a city then? So you need to look at again the sources. What sources you have got, including wastes. So what you can do now, identify the needs. Needs again, power, heat, cooling, fresh water, etc. So what you can do, hydrogen. So now you will have integrated systems, and through the integrated systems, you are going to provide useful outputs.
Wow.
To the city, and that will make it a kind of really more sustainable.
Wow. And just for curiosity, there's a city there's almost there already, because I don't know.
Now, which city is fully committed for that? Neom city in Saudi Arabia.
Really?
Yeah, they are building a Neom city, which is a hydrogen city. Imagine, Saudi Arabia is an oil country, but build that city specifically for hydrogen. So Neom.
Wow.
So there are, of course, initiatives in various parts of the Europe, starting from, let's say, Denmark, Norway, and the other Scandinavian countries. So in Germany, etc. So always, going with the renewables and the other alternative options.
They already are making the difference.
And also district heating, for example, becoming very important. What happens in various plants, they have waste heat. So what they do, they recover that waste heat and heat the entire city.
Wow.
And then they have the pipelines, and they run hot waters and so on and so forth, and for heating purposes.
Wow. Professor, I'm pretty sure, I'm 100% sure that I learned a lot, and everyone that's watching right now after
learning some, and that's great. That's great.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Okay?
Pleasure.
Thank
All
you.
the best.